Welcome to Conversations Sin Miedo, a podcast where we break the stigma around mental health in the Hispanic community. I'm Sonia, and this is a safe space for open, honest conversations. Whether you're first generation, navigating cultural challenges, or just looking for a place to feel heard, we're here to talk about it all sin miedo y con corazón. Join me as we share stories, answer your questions, and create a community where vulnerability is celebrated. Let's start the conversation. Hi everyone. Welcome back to another episode. So this week's episode is coping mechanisms we grew up with, what works and what doesn't. So things like turning to prayer, advice from family, or literally just pushing through those tough times. We'll talk about what works, what doesn't, how these traditional strategies kind of intersect with modern therapy and mental health practices. So again, really just talking today about what works for you might not work for someone else, or maybe something like I guess the point is understanding the difference between pretty much like a healthy mechanism versus a non-healthy mechanism. So what I mean is, whatever you do that is in a way not necessarily healthy of like physical healthy or like eating your vegetables or whatever. I mean, that does tie together, but it's more of like mentally healthy and more positive than negative, something like that. So, in our culture, and well, a lot of cultures, a lot of people tend to fall into their faith, which is awesome. Good for you. Me and a lot of my close friends have not really the greatest experience with growing up in our church, and if you know, but I still think faith is important, whatever that looks like for you. So if you're the type to turn to that, sometimes I do. This isn't about me, but really, like I said, what is a positive or a negative coping mechanism. So I think this episode's kind of like reflection. What is that self-reflection? What are you doing? What are we doing so far? Is it working? Is it not working? What we were raised to do, like what is something we have to like what is something like, okay, well, we've been doing it because we were raised that way, or we have, it's hard to break out of the cycle, things like that. So it's kind of hard because this kind of falls into what we talked about of like understanding that the stigmas behind mental health and against therapy, and we don't talk about it, or you don't talk about your problems with someone else. It's like, what happens in this house stays in this house. And I want, again, this is a safe space to kind of bring that up and kind of talk about, well, clearly, girl, it's not working. Clearly, this is more of like it's been working for you, kind of like in denial, kind of in like, if we don't talk about it, it didn't happen or whatever. So, kind of like that of, like keep your head down, work through it type of mentality. Like, no, like you have to, it's okay to ask for help. We talked about this in our last episode, and I got a lot of feedback from the last episode, and I truly loved it too. Again, I'm so grateful for my friends and just the support from them and everyone. And next week we'll have another type of video like that with a guest. But going back to this, so yeah, kind of like that old mentality or traditional coping mechanisms, like pretty much it's emotional suppression. Like, you'll be fine, you'll get through it. Like, yeah, I know I'll get through it, but that's not exactly helping me, and like in a time when I think it just depends on the situation, but focusing on mental health of like, I'm struggling. Like, I'm like, for example, like at work, it's just been really hard on me, and talking to your close friend, it's like, oh, well, you'll get through it. You're a hard worker, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't need you to remind me. I need you to listen to me, or I need, like, I don't need this, not really false hope, but kind of false hope of someone telling you, like, you got this, girl, like, you're okay, you'll be okay. It's like, no, I'm not okay right now. And I don't have to be okay all the time. Like, it's kind of that comfort thing again of like, we're scared of what's that called? It's been a long day, y'all. My brain is not braining. It is at the tip of my tongue. But it's kind of like we're afraid to be uncomfortable, or we don't want to have those tough conversations, or we don't want to, make it uncomfortable. But I'm not going to deny or hide my emotions to make you feel better. This isn't about you. If you know, my favorite podcast girl is Brittany Broski, and she's like, this isn't about you. This isn't about you. Like, let's, put it on me for a second, and let me have, like, just the space to feel, to let myself, do what I gotta do. I gotta scream, I gotta vent, I gotta cry, I gotta rant, I gotta talk to someone. Give me that space. And again, you gotta pick the right person that you let yourself, I don't like to say be vulnerable, because I mean, it is kind of hard, we see this as like a vulnerable spot, and it is tough to let yourself feel, let yourself go through that, whatever emotion. Let's say you're feeling sad, let's say you're feeling depressed, like to that point, and letting yourself go through it. And it's like, I have this poem, and we're going to talk about books, but I have this book, and it's like, you probably heard, like, we go through the storm, like, you have to go through it, you can't hide from it, whatever. Go through that storm, whatever that looks like, go through it, experience it, feel it, and then the storm is over. Rainbows out, sun's out, whatever. Finding that space for yourself, like, if that's going over to your friend's house, or like, I don't know, talking to your man, your girl, your best friend, whatever, having that space, but choosing the right person that's going to listen to you, not judge you. Again, plug it in therapy. It's one of the main things, but therapy is a professional person, literally, that doesn't judge you, isn't giving you advice. It's someone that is supporting you through whatever. Like, we all have our own struggles, and this isn't like, well, my struggle's bigger than you, or mine's the biggest of all. that's not what this is. It's not a competition. We're all struggling through different areas in our life or through different things. And it's important to not suppress it, not feel it. Like, you know what, I'm tough, I don't care, whatever. I'm not going to talk about it, because it's going to show up. It's going to show up in different things when we suppress those emotions and we don't talk about it and we don't process it. So, anyways, yeah, it shows up like when we feel tired, we don't want to get out of bed, we don't take care of ourselves. It just shows up in different ways. So, what works and why? So, you know, so like there's different strengths of traditional coping mechanisms. So like I said, like think about what you do. How do you deal with stuff? It's like I said, it's most of us go through. Some families are like, you can't feel this emotion. You gotta tough it out, whatever that looks like. So we don't know how to deal with it in a healthy way. And so traditional coping mechanisms, again, if it works for you, great. So like family support, we build that resilience through connection. Humans are made, like, we seek connection. Like, that's a huge thing about us. So, like I said, prayer, if that works for you, prayer could be like a good mindfulness practice. So again, having mindfulness is really about right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, but right now, being in the present, not, worried about something in 2 days or 2 days ago or whatever. It's being present right now, practicing mindfulness, and, again, family support can have that, like, literally that support, that strong network to help you heal. And so going into what doesn't work, so unhealthy coping strategies. So again, emotional suppression, not bottling it up, leads to, you don't resolve it, and it can burn you out. It can drain you. And then you take it out on someone else. Or again, it just shows up in different areas of your life. And then, of course, like having that stigma around expressing emotions, like if you cry, you're weak, or you're not strong, or you're not, like, whatever that is, strong person. So again, just different examples of how this can harm your mental health. Avoiding these conversations about like anxiety or depression can allow these struggles to go unchecked. And again, it's, it just makes it bigger. It grows bigger. So, what are some healthy coping strategies? So again, I love my therapy, love my therapists. It is hard. It's not easy. I still, again, in my experience, it's a very, like, I tell myself, like, this is personal, but I mean, I don't really care now thinking about it, but I feel like I get emotional when I'm in my sessions, and I would always feel like shame, or I'm like, oh, I can't cry, I don't want to make this person uncomfortable, or like make it about me or whatever. And it's like, you know what, I'm feeling like this is making me feel sad. hence I'm crying. Like, it's okay to cry. Like, I am an adult, and why am I afraid of it? And again, like, now that I, like, 26 years of life, I've learned that crying is our natural painkiller. Sometimes we, like, feel better after we cry. But anyways, for me, that's something that, again, like, for therapy, finding the right therapist, whatever, but in that space, I feel open to just let myself feel, really, letting myself give myself permission in a non-judgmental place and with someone that's a professional. So, therapy, journaling. I'm not into writing, but you could process your emotions privately, just you, and you could do like a notebook, pen, whatever, on your laptop, on your phone. Like, on your notes, you could lock that. I mean, Team iPhone, sorry Samsung, I don't know if y'all could do that, not my business, but iPhone, on the notes app, I'm like pulling it up right now because I have like 500 notes. Not journaling, like my grocery list, my all those different things. But yeah, you could like lock it and put a pin on there, so you can do that if you feel more comfortable. What else? Also, mindfulness, meditation, and this is what I was going to talk about too. So, when I talk about mindfulness, I drink soda and I don't usually drink soda and it makes me burpy. I'm so sorry. Thank goodness there's no video today because I'm literally like rubbing my forehead and trying to get my brain to work. So, mindfulness and meditation. When I think of meditation, I'm like, sitting on the floor, crisscross applesauce, like humming and breathing. Not really like that. I have tried it personally, and it's really just about reflection, kind of like a twist. I mean, people talk about it's like prayer, but really for me it's mostly I'm focusing on my breathing. And when our bodies are like in this anxious mode or just going and going and going, and we don't let ourselves feel this emotion, or we don't slow our bodies down, it's just going and going like an engine, right? We're just going and going and going in a circle. And with mindfulness and like meditating, you're slowing your body down and doing a breathing technique, or listening to I did these what's it called, a guided meditation. So they like talk you like, okay, we're gonna take a deep breath in, whatever. There's so many out there, and I can, pull up on Spotify. I know there's guided meditation. I know there's one on YouTube. So starting off, I did 3 minutes, and it was the longest 3 minutes of my life. I was like, oh my God, when is this done, blah, 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 and I built up. I was like, all right, let me do 3 minutes for a week. Then I did 5 minutes, and then I got into 10, but it's letting yourself just stop. And it's relaxing, but it's also just important for our bodies to just take a deep breath. Like, we all got our stuff going on, letting ourselves just, relax, in a healthy way. And there's a lot of studies and research that it is really good for you to practice whatever type of meditation or mindfulness technique. But again, it's also like a coping skill too. So, like a breathing technique, we'll practice one right now, actually. So, this is one that I share with my little friends too at work. And I call it the 4-for-4 breathing. And they don't know. I think only one of them got this joke, but I said, have you ever been to Wendy's? The 4-for-4. In this economy, I don't think it's $4 anymore, but it was 4-for-4. So all you do is breathe in through your nose 4 seconds long. Hold your breath for 4 seconds and then breathe out through your mouth slowly, like you're blowing through a straw for 4 seconds. So how I tell my friends, my little friends that are in elementary school, all right, we're going to smell the flowers for 4 seconds. Hold our breath and then breathe out like we're blowing out candles. Wow, ASMR. I could hear that in my headphones. So you do that for 4 times. And I literally did that. Where was I? I did that the other day. Oh, I had a stressful day at work and I did that in the bathroom. I think I did that in the car once. Again, keep your eyes open. Don't take your hands off the wheel. Don't do this. I mean, you could do it while driving, but safety first. Another thing that we've talked about before, but again, is super important, is building boundaries. It's so hard. It is. Literally, I had an epiphany last month. But, building boundaries. So boundaries, again, it's like an invisible fence. We have it with everyone that has... Oh, I wasn't by the mic. We have boundaries set for everyone in our life, especially family members, friends, whoever. So I had to set a boundary for myself because I was relying on someone that isn't reliable at all. And I was in a situation and I was like, why did I put myself in this situation to rely on this person that I know isn't reliable? So I'm like, all right, boundary here. This person I can't rely on, so I'm not gonna, ask a favor, ask to do this, blah, blah. I'm putting this boundary for myself. But again, an example of a boundary, if someone's yelling at you, you tell them, hey, stop yelling at me. But a boundary is, hey, if you continue to yell at me, I'm walking away from you. That is a boundary. And now it's your responsibility. Okay, if they yell at you again, then you walk away. Remember, don't try to save them. Don't try to, okay, maybe they didn't hear me. No. You set your boundary, but you have to be consistent with it too. Because if you can't uphold that boundary for you, how can you expect this person to uphold your boundary? So, like I said, there's different ways to, different type of coping mechanisms, different types of coping skills you could try. There are sometimes traditional methods might not be enough. You're not betraying your culture or yourself or your roots by asking for help. You're honoring yourself. You're being authentic, like I said. Again, time of reflection. What are you doing when you have a certain situation that you have to deal with and it's stressful and you're angry and you're really upset? What are you going to do? How are you going to take care of yourself? How are you going to calm yourself down? How are you going to deal with that? And, most of us are adults. So, we've been living and breathing, and it's time to reflect and say, well, this has been helpful. I've been doing this. All right, great. Well, what else can we do? Or, you know what? This isn't working. What is something new I could do? So yeah, we kind of talked a little bit about some traditional coping mechanisms we grew up with, have their strengths and they have their limits and limitations, but, we talked a little bit more about other strategies and maybe some healthier ones you could try to use in your life, but it's not exactly, I don't know, against your culture or nothing. Again, love therapy. If you haven't tried it, you gotta try it. Honestly, if you haven't tried it, what was it? I was talking to someone, they were like, oh, I don't know what it was. I don't like cheesecake. Okay. Have you ever had cheesecake? No. Girl, if you haven't tried it and you don't like it, it doesn't make sense. So again, do you, but try it. Take a moment to reflect on what has worked for you, what hasn't. It's okay to outgrow these. Remember, we are evolving, we grow every day. And it's okay to try something new. It's okay. You deserve it. You deserve to feel supported. And it's okay to kind of practice that self-care. It's okay that it's for you. So, remember, some books I was going to talk about, I forgot. So I was going to try to share some on my Facebook page, with links and everything, because I'm a visual person, but there's this really good book, and again, I have used this book before. I haven't read the whole thing, but I haven't. I just would jot down notes, but it's called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel, B-E-S-S-E-L, Bessel van der Kolk. So it's about trauma and healing. This book is a little triggering because it does talk about it could be triggering for some people with, it's a very, I don't know, graphic type of book. Maybe you should talk to someone. I'll put these on there, but there's a lot of podcasts, a lot of other YouTube channels that discuss this, and I'm really working on making a toolkit. In my last podcast talking with Victor, he's like, we should do this toolkit. I have so many, so I'm trying to kind of figure out what's the best way to do it. We could kind of talk about it here, or if you guys want a visual, I'm a visual learner or something like that. We could do that. There's a lot of apps too, like Calm, Headspace for mindfulness. I was going to say another one. There's, if you're not a book person, there's Audible, Atomic Habits. I save these on my phone. I'm trying to look for the other ones. I heard that book is really good. I'm a reader, so I have 2 books I'm reading right now. So I tell myself I'm going to read. I just haven't been able to finish those. Oh my god. This new screenshots. Where are my screenshots? Okay, here it is. Yep, Atomic Habits. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Oh, there's these really good books on Amazon. It's I think it's called uh it's Go F Yourself, but my friend told me she listens to this with her kids, so thinking of you, Brittany. I think it's oh man, I can't find it. But yeah, I'll post these. There's a lot of good books, and I feel like they're like um they are I don't know, they're not like boring. Sometimes I can't read a book and it's like how to be your best you. Like no, I need something real. I need something that's like pulls me in. Oh my god. Oh, here it is. You Are a Badass: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. The next book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving, an FUCK. The next one, It Didn't Start With You. Oh, that's a book I really wanted to read. So that one's about how inherited family trauma shapes who we are and how to end the cycle. This is another book I really want to read. Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents: How to Heal from Distant, Rejecting, or Self-Involved Parents. Honestly, I think I might read these books and talk about them. I really think I might read that one, or It Didn't Start With You first. And then again, other mental health resources. So obviously there's the 988 helpline, and that is available all throughout the United States. There's BetterHelp and Talkspace. Also, God, I'm burping again. Sorry. Next week, we are going to have a guest that I'm very excited for this next episode because we're going to talk about community resources and asking him about his background, what he does in the community, and it's going to be another good one. So again, take away anything from this episode. Reflection. Reflect on what you're doing. Ask yourself, what am I doing right now that's helping me? What have I been doing that's been working, and what have I been doing that isn't working? And yeah, it's a new year. We're halfway through January, but just kind of putting that in perspective, do I want to set my goals for myself in this year or whatever that looks like? And just go through that. So, again, thanks again so much for listening. Please like my Facebook and Instagram page where I post new stuff. And please watch last week's episode was amazing. Next week is going to be really good too. So take care of yourselves. Love you all. Bye. Okay. Can you hear me? Technical difficulties, but that's okay. I'm almost done. So, yeah, as I was saying, our next episode is going to be number 6, mental health and machismo, redefining strength. I'm very excited. I feel like a lot of people have been talking to me about, like, I don't know, I'm just very excited for this topic and to dive deeper into it and to have, I think I might have 2 guests on the show, but we'll see how it goes. And so again, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting, and remember, tell your friends to listen or share this. Maybe, like I said, your homework to have this difficult conversation with someone, maybe just send this to them. Like, hey, I want you to listen to this because we're going to have a conversation soon or something. And, but, one more thing. I think I've talked about New Year's and stuff, but remembering self-care and remembering, yes, this is a new year, but you don't have to change your entire life overnight, and starting off with small goals and I don't know, just putting your self-care first, putting yourself first is okay. And whatever your goals may look like this year, try to tie that in. And well, on my list everyone's before me. Like, why? That's your list. Like, sometimes you have to take care of yourself to take care of others. So I just wanted to remind you guys about that. And all this crazy New Year's resolutions and whatever. And so yeah, again, remember all the resources you have. 988 is a nationwide resource you can call or text, I believe, if you are having negative thoughts or a crisis or need someone to talk to. I appreciate you all. God, I can't talk. Practice that. Practice self-care. And I'll see you next week. Love ya. Bye.